Client buys a house, older home, had cast iron plumbing. It was represented that the cast iron plumbing had been replaced. A couple of days into the new buyer moving in, the plumbing backs up catastrophically. Sewage backup. Hey friends, what's happening? My name is David Russell. I'm a real estate agent in the Dallas-Fort Worth area here in North Texas. And today I'm going to tell you about a story of how a new homeowner, a new buyer, narrowly missed a $40,000 plumbing repair bill. I'm going to tell you about how that happened, how it was missed. I'm going to tell you about how it was solved. And I'm going to tell you how you as a home buyer can prevent it from happening to you. First, hey, if this is your first time checking out my channel, please subscribe it, hit the like button so that you're notified every time I put a new video out, which I do videos every single week about buying, owning, and selling real estate in North Texas. We take calls every single week from prospective buyers, people moving into the Dallas-Fort Worth area that want help with purchasing new homes, brand new construction, pre-owned, and investors. We take calls every day, and we would love to help you. If you need help in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, please call, text, or email us. That's what we're here for, is to help you. Now let's dig into this. So full transparency, this is not my buyer. This was a story recently relayed to me by a good friend of mine, young man, David Stolzman, did an outstanding job representing his buyer in this situation, and full credit to David for doing an amazing job and helping his client. So first, what happened? Client buys a house, older home, had cast iron plumbing. It was represented that the cast iron plumbing had been replaced. A couple of days into the new buyer moving in, the plumbing backs up catastrophically. Sewage backup. Plumbers come out. It's discovered that the pipes have not been replaced. There is cast iron still in the house, and it is not serviceable. It is completely clogged. Wow. How did that happen? How could it be that it was represented as completely repaired or replaced? No plumbing issues. That's what I should say. It was represented as no plumbing issues and new plumbing. Wasn't the case. So how did David solve this? David did some deep research, made some phone calls, actually spoke to the previous homeowner, and learned that, yes, there was plumbing issues prior to them selling the home to a publicly traded flip company that's really big around the country, but does a lot of business in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Hold that thought, because I have a whole nother story about this company and another issue I had with them a number of years ago. So buyer beware on that particular topic for another video. That David does a great job, finds out that the seller had problems, that it was known to this publicly traded company that this plumbing was clogged and needed replaced. David presents some of that to the company and says, hey, the buyers, these new homeowners, these buyers would like to have the plumbing replaced. And they went back and forth just a little bit. The company made the right decision and replaced the plumbing for that buyer. About $30,000, $40,000 is what the cost of repairing that plumbing was. Was not taken care of in advance prior to the home being sold, which it should have been, but it was taken care of after the fact. Now, side note, if it wasn't for David, another agent, another buyer might not have gotten to the bottom of this. It might have ended up very, very differently. So good, amazing job. I cannot give David enough credit for this. He did an amazing job. Now, so the issue was clogged plumbing. How did it get resolved? David did an amazing job uncovering that it should have been repaired, but it wasn't. It wasn't disclosed, so the company made the right decision to correct it after the fact. So I guess that's no harm, no foul. It's done, taken care of. Buyers are happy. So that's it. So from a buyer perspective, you're moving into Dallas-Fort Worth. You don't know anything about cast iron plumbing here. How do you prevent that from happening? Very, very easy. when you purchase a home here in the Dallas-Fort Worth, whether it is pier and beam, meaning the floor is suspended above the ground, the plumbing then is suspended between the ground and the floor, so it's just in the air on hangers, whether it's pier and beam or slab, which means the cast iron plumbing is in the soil, regardless of whether it's pier and beam or slab, you should have a plumber video that plumbing. You should have a plumber in there with a video camera shooting that plumbing so you can A, confirm that it was all replaced if that's what's being claimed, B, confirm if it's a known cast iron plumbing system that what the condition of that cast iron plumbing is. Cast iron has a lifespan of 50 to 70 years. Most of these homes are built in the 60s, early 70s, mid 70s, so that cast iron is near the end or at the end of its life. And some of that cast iron, some of those homes of cast iron is beyond repair and really is no longer serviceable, as was the case with this buyer. Having the plumbing scoped with a video camera will allow a plumber to make a determination and grade the condition of that plumbing. You, as the buyer, can then see that video and decide, do I want to take on that risk, or do we need to go back to the seller and renegotiate for the necessary repairs or price reduction? Now, one side note, many buyers today, and this is a whole nother video we can get into, and I think I already have one in my video library. Go check it out. Option periods. In the state of Texas, you are, as a buyer, you can negotiate a certain number of days to conduct due diligence, and then you have the unrestricted right to terminate the contract if you, the buyer, and the seller cannot agree on terms that are mutually agreeable. Then you can terminate that contract. There's a fee for that, but that said, in today's market with multiple offers, many buyers are foregoing that option period and they're just taking the house as is. A huge risk when it's cast iron plumbing. Now, granted, it's a huge risk, period. It could have structural issues, could have roof issues, but the cast iron plumbing is a known problem, and the prices I hear on a regular basis are $25,000 to $40,000 for a full replacement of that cast iron plumbing. So when you're buying a home here, if it has cast iron, I would proceed exceedingly cautiously if it is if you're going to pass on that option period and have no way out of that house, no way out of that contract without losing your earnest money, if you discover that the cast iron plumbing is not serviceable. So again, just to recap, how did these folks get into this situation? It was represented that the plumbing was replaced. That's one. So they went on good faith. The plumbing was replaced. Not many people pay the plumber to videotape every single plumbing system when they're buying a home. It's just not a common strategy. It's not a common item that people do in terms of due diligence. Number two, how did they solve it? David did an amazing job uncovering that the company probably knew about it and didn't resolve it. So who knows, was it a mistake? Was it strategic? I'm not getting into that because I don't know. Maybe somebody made a mistake and it was overlooked. It's possible. We all make mistakes. That said, he was able to uncover that, present that to the seller, and they remedied the situation. Great for them. The problem was resolved. And then how do you prevent that from happening as a buyer? Get the plumbing videoed. If you have cast iron in a house that you're buying, video the plumbing, and that plumber can give you a grade and tell you whether or not that's serviceable or not serviceable. Again, I want to thank you. If you've never seen these videos before, please subscribe, like it. If there's anything we can do for you with buying and selling, owning real estate, my name is David Russell. Please give us a call.